Okay, today's strip down day. We're taking this one down to the bare metal. For the simple fact that we'll show you a couple spots over here. Last guys that did it, they just put primer over it. And if you look in here, you can see all these little spots. That's all rust. See where it's actually turning to rust here? It actually came out. So we're going to take this all down to bare. If we have to, we find any pitted spots, we're going to sandblast them. All the rust is going to be gone. There's lots of it here. And they just kept doing that. And in some places they put thin putty over it. Other places they just put primer. What's happening now is it's actually coming to the surface and breaking. See how the break is in there? All that rust is starting to come through. Those scratch lines and stuff, it's all cracking underneath here. So rust is pushing out. You see all this pit here? That's all got to be gone. That's rust. It's pitted into the metal, but if you don't get rid of it and cover it, it's coming back. And here's a real good example of not sanding well enough. The paint, I can actually hit this with the air gun and it blows the paint right off. Real good example of just not sanding. Here's another spot. They left the window seals in and tried going around it. Well, it's great if you got something to sand to, but it wasn't even sanded right. The paint just peels right off. Granted, the paint's a little bit older on here. Just wasn't done correctly. So that's what we're doing today, is just strip, 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 find the bad spots. Eventually we'll end up sandblasting, put putty into them. We still got a couple of panels here to patch and stuff. No big deal. We're not going to let that worry us. We're going to build our own patches. Everything's coming out good. Instead of going buying new sheet metal, we're going to the junkyard and see if we can find some old hoods and stuff that we can cut the metal out of. The older metal, it bends, it doesn't crack. This new stuff, for some reason, after a while, it tends to crack and stuff. So we're going to weld all the panels back in. Coming back up here, we're going to show you something else about the panel van. They were famous for this. I know we talked about this before, but you can see that crack actually in the body. It's an actual crack. What they did is they puttied it. Well, the crack's still there, shook, broke the putty. Now the crack's back even worse. That was actually a factory defect in the van. It's just the way they're built. For some reason it stresses right here and it cracked the panels right up in here, both sides. You know, engineering's gotten a lot better. I'm sure Chevrolet didn't mean to do it, just something that happened. Here's another good example here. There's rust under there. They just primed it. All the paint was bubbling on there. So that's kind of our goal today, is just keep stripping her, get down to the bare, at least close, so we can DA the rest of this. We were just going through so much sandpaper and stuff that we just quit, and we went on and bought these new discs. Stripping discs. You can buy them off, where'd you get these ones? Amazon.
Yeah.
They're off Amazon. We've used 2 discs. We've got this far on there. Probably 3 or 4 discs will strip this whole car. If we did all in sandpaper, probably $50 to $70. This way, maybe $24, and a lot less time. We've accomplished a lot today. Again, that's pretty much today's episode. It's a little bit of satisfaction of stripping, seeing what's underneath that paint again, seeing why it's doing what it is. Here's another one here. Another body crack, another stress. Famous for that. Both sides were like that. The other side they putty. This one they put a thin layer on. Well, of course the putty let loose because the crack opened up and you got a weak spot. The putty's not going to hold. So those are 2 stress points in there on both sides of the car. So we're going to get rid of them. Come around the other side. I don't know how far you're in episodes, if you've been watching us or not. What we did here to get rid of this stress crack is we actually cut a piece of the panel right out. We went back and we just migged another panel in there. We'll grind this and then we'll putty it. This should hold up twice as good because the crack is actually right here, right in the center. So we double welded this all the way around, just a little snap weld here and there, just ticked it in. Try not to warp the metal. I know you guys are saying, oh, you already warped the metal. This was like this already. That's why they had all the putty in here. So we're just gonna grind it down and we'll put more putty back in there, but at least we're getting rid of the stress cracks. And down here, this one here was a stress crack too. We V'd it all out, went back into the wire feed, and we filled the crack all in, and we V'd it out real deep, so that weld's burnt in there really deep. And when we get done with that, there'll be a little bit of putty on there, but the putty is just going to be nothing but to cover it up and get our body lines straight. We're finding out the body lines on this car were actually very good. When we were first looking at it, we thought, oh, what the heck, it's really wavy. Well, it's really wavy because they just put too much putty in it. So we're trying to straighten that out and bring all that back. I was hoping to leave some of this old putty on here and just work off from it. But the more putty I take off, the more I find there's a little bit of rust behind it. It's not holding. You're getting little cracks. There's more. It's just cracking and coming to the surface. So they really didn't put it on. So that's today's episode, folks. Grind, clean. It's going to look ugly, but they always look uglier before they look better. Kind of like the old saying, you dress a pig and take it to the fair, it's still a pig. This one's going to be a show-winning pig when we're done with it. That's our goal. We want the blue ribbon. So just take time and keep sanding and enjoy the episode. Thanks so much for watching.